I hit the start streaming button. Let's see if I did everything right this time. Oh good, it still has the thumbnail from last time because I forgot to look into that. Oops. Alright, are we, I need to take something so that I can actually, like, see a stream chat. Let's do this. And, okay, I see myself. That's a good sign. As soon as I get all the stuff on the table, I'm going to actually start building this thing. How do I share? All right, share link. I should probably do that. Let's see. That's there. And okay. This thing on? All right. So I'm going to build a computer, hopefully without setting anything on fire or blowing any capacitors or anything else that would be extremely tragic. Motherboard is as good a place as any to start. This is probably going to need a BIOS update at some point before I can actually run this, but I think I can apparently flash it without having to actually have a CPU in, which is nice according to the paperwork that came with this thing. Hello, I can't see your username. Give me a minute. These look important. Fold, does that say? The screen I'm looking at this on is very small. I think I can get at least one thing off of this table now. No Windows Update notices. Don't go there. I can't see the stream chat if you block the stream chat. All right, motherboard. This is fancier than the motherboards I'm used to handling. It's a very nice anti-static bag. I'd like to keep those just in case for future use. Can you hear me all right, by the way? It looks like the audio levels are reasonable, but I haven't, like, don't have headphones in, so I can't hear myself. Everyone says your name wrong. Yeah, I can. I guess I could, like, zoom in a little bit, but I honestly can't tell if that's F-O-I-B or F-O-L-B. It has a fancy, like, shield over the socket too. I don't know if that's an AM5 thing or just a this motherboard thing. I've never, like I said, used AM5 before. Seem to have changed the pin grid array a little bit. Okay, that's cool. What can I open this with that won't, like, accidentally damage something? I had scissors. Scissors. This is the part that I'm nervous about, because if I mess this up, I'm gonna suddenly magically end up with a $500 paperweight. You know what, before I put this in, I should probably actually, like, look at the installation guide to see what it says about updating BIOS. Nothing. Wow. That actually doesn't say much. Is there another paper? I feel like if there was anything about updating BIOS, it would be on this paper, but I don't see one. Alright, we'll just fly by the seat of our pants then. So how are you all doing today? Blue. It's a name I have not seen in a while. I hope you're doing well. Blue is one of my my MagFest friends who I see every year at the convention. Okay, this makes me nervous because, like, I really want to, like... The notch is on that side. That feels about right. Alright, that doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Mousetrap. Eating quesadilla. Okay. Haven't done that in a while. I just ate a bunch of leftover pierogies for lunch because I was in a hurry because I wanted to do this. There's a sticker. I'll find a place to put that sticker eventually. Alright, what are we going to do next? I think, since I have shot myself in the foot with this before, trying to install the M.2 after everything else and finding that things are in the way, I think I'd probably better get that out of the way first. Of course, there's an operating manual for the SSD too. I'm actually going to need a screwdriver for this. A Phillips head, preferably. It's not. Alright, that's worrying. It's not like this Phillips head is in bad shape. Okay. I never actually built a PC completely myself. First I let it build by the company where I bought the parts, and then I just replaced components one by one. Yeah, that's sort of what ended up happening with the previous computer that I had, which is now being retired. It was just a computer from HP, but I replaced most of the individual bits over time. Come on, there we go. Really want to not fat finger this. What happened to that screw? Here? Oh, why is there like... This is a fancy shield. I didn't notice that when I took it off. really feel like that's not... There we go. Okay. I guess this is like a built-in heatsink for the M.2. I've seen M.2s with heat sinks on them, but I've never seen them like built into the motherboard like that. All right, I think that should be good. That doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. What are we doing next? It would probably not be a bad idea to get the cooler on at some point. Actually, that should go on after the RAM, shouldn't it? Because I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a longer cooler than I'm used to, judging by the size of this box. Alright, some assembly required. Oh, it's not longer, but it is taller. Okay. Did they give me extra fans? Alright, we'll get to that when we get to that. Where did my RAM sticks go? Phoebe, is that something that you want to do at some point eventually, or just like you deal with the computer stuff whenever you have to? There's going to be a lot of cardboard that I'm going to have to get rid of after this. Okay. This is also my first time working with DDR5. That wants to go. Do these not like snap out the way that DDR4 modules do? Oh. Okay. Come on. There we go. All right, that's one, and now I've got to do it 3 more times. Definitely going to make me nervous. These all go the same way, right? Those feel like they're in. That one does not feel like it's in. Am I holding it the wrong way around? Oh, yes, I am. Definitely don't want to screw this up somehow. All right, RAM, good to go, I think. Now, we're gonna have some fun with the cooler. So this is going to be something I'm going to have to think about. I believe there is a thing that slots into the middle, and then these two fans go on the side. Don't really have enough money for building a complete computer. Next year when you're done with school can start working as a software developer, then hopefully that will do it. Sounds like a plan. Alright, I might actually have to read the directions for this. Okay, there's a lot of assembly required on this one. Okay, so I can't like use the default mounts for this. By the way, I know some coolers come with a little bit of thermal paste for free, but I don't see it here, which makes me think I'm going to have to go and get my own. There's not much left in that one. That should be good. If there's any left in here, I'll use it. Yeah, I know that it was one of the the bigger ones when I ordered it, but I didn't expect it to be like this big. I actually hope that's not going to be a problem, and if it's like if it ends up taking up too much space, I do have a smaller one, which I could jump to instead. Let me see. Remove the AMD AM4 or I assume 5 plastic brackets. Keep the back plate. Install AM4 metal brackets with screws and standoffs. That would be these things. Oh, it did come with thermal paste, like a lot of it too. Are they serious? Not that I'm complaining, but have a Raspberry Pi and put a cooler on it, which is almost as big as that. I've seen those. My Raspberry Pi just have like the default case coolers, and they get the job done. But I've seen the really, especially the ones that come on, the ones that people who like to overclock their Pis use. It's bigger than much bigger than like the boards themselves, which I think is quite a sight to see. Okay, so that's going to be those default mounting things. The back plate. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that just falling out. Sometimes they do. Install the metal brackets with the screws and the little plastic standoffs, which is going to be these things, unless I'm much mistaken. They gave me a lot of parts for this. So they want me to go and just stick these little pegs here, I think. No? Are they all different? Oh, these are for different sockets. Okay, I see. I see. Which way up do they go? It looks like they want me to face them this way. I'm just gonna work that out with my fingers, and then once they're at least going in the right direction, I'll use the screwdriver. Oh no, they need to, it needs, I don't know if it really matters. Well, it probably does because there is another screw peg thing here, but I'm gonna need to turn that one around. Like this. Alright, so next up, apply the thermal paste on CPU, install heatsink with screwdriver, which is the fun part, and then install fans on heatsink with fan clips as soon as I get these on. Oh, I see the reason that the instructions are so long is because we have slightly different diagrams for AM4, AM5, Intel's LGA, 1200 and LGA 1700. So, I guess that makes sense. Be nice if Intel didn't change their socket every 3 years, but oh well. Okay. I feel like that could be a little bit more secure. Especially that one. Okay. Before I go and open the thing that's going to make a mess, I'm pretty sure there's nothing else that I have to do before I can do this. All right, time for the thermal paste. So here we have a little disposable toothpaste tubes worth of thermal paste. And that didn't make as much of a mess as I have in the past. So that's character development. And now I guess I can just stick this thing on. So I'm gonna have to take this tape off. That screwdriver is not long enough. I need like, there we go. Okay. Is it actually moving? It's not actually moving. Did I miss on the did I miss on the other one? Alright, Now the screw is moving. There we go. Hopefully this is not going to go anywhere and I won't have to make it go anywhere. And now can I just like, there are some springs that it came with, which I assume are to attach the fans. No GPU. I have a GPU. Did I not write it down in the description? I thought I did. It is this thing. It's the right way around. Get to that most likely last. It just says install fans on heatsink with fan clips. So diagram isn't very interesting in that department, but we'll see. I've got a couple of extra fans too, should I need them on the case, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So these are going to have to go where's the CPU fan? There it is. And there's like another one too. I'm gonna need to, can I clip these together? Here. I might just have to like plug this into a, one of the system fan things or something. Did I miss something? Wait. Oh no, one of them just slots in the middle and one of them slots in on the side. Okay. So which direction do I want the airflow to go? There should be an arrow on these, shouldn't there? There's usually an arrow. Anyway. Am I sure that's right? I feel like I'm missing something. Also upgraded yours after 10 years recently, and holy moly, what an improvement. Old A10 6700 Asus pre-built with integrated graphics. Yeah, going from integrated graphics to a dedicated card of any type really is night and day. I definitely feel like I forgot to do something here. A10, that was one of like AMD's pre-Ryzen CPUs, right? CPU side is the side it's blowing to you. My question is like, does if I hold the fan like this, is the airflow going this way or this way? Because usually, isn't there like an arrow printed on it somewhere? I know some people can look at a fan and tell which side is the front or the back, but I'm not holding my hand here. I can barely feel anything. Because usually, if the back of the computer is going to be here, you'd want the airflow to go this way across it, right? Although I guess the more important question is whether all the fans are going in the same direction, but this is really not a good time for my phone to be ringing. Phoebe needs to go eat something. Yeah, go do that, because that's important if you want to be able to, you know, function normally. Which I frequently forget to do, but we won't talk about that. I feel like this is the back and the airflow is going to go this way. So, like the side with the logo on it is front, right? I'm trying to remember what I did before. And the back is just not as interesting. You would want the intake to be in the front of the case and the hot air to leave the back. That's one of those things that if I did this more often, I would just remember. But you sound like you know what you're talking about, so sure, let's do that. In that case, I believe I would want it to face this way. Exhaust is pulling in from the logo side. So if the logo was... Let's say if the logo was on this side, yeah, and it's gonna pull in air from that way, so this would go towards the back of the computer. As far as how to get the fans mounted, okay, so we'll run with that assumption for now. If I have to take it apart and turn it around, that's not going to be like the worst thing, although I'd still prefer not to. I'm going to need, if I'm reading the diagram correctly, I probably should have hung this on in the opposite order, but if I do meh. All right. So exactly, what do I want these to clip onto? It looks like the diagram could be clearer, but okay, it looks like it wants it to sit in like the fins of the heatsink. Similar problem when done a deep dive on fans, because that's reversal blade fans too, so they blow from the logo side. This is one of those things that I feel like I should just like print out and or draw a little diagram and pin it to the wall for when I have to do it next time, because I never remember, and I either have to guess or just look it up, or if there's an arrow on the side, then that's, you know, that's helpful. No, stop. Stay. I know these are supposed to like clip onto something. Can I get it to... to seat itself like that, and then I would put them on the other side too, except I'm fairly obviously going to need clips for the other one. On your heatsink fans, make sure it's not fighting your case rear exhaust or upper, depending on which way you set it. I was looking at the case, which I'll take out after I get some of this mess off here, and I think there should be like space and nothing should be blocking. But again, if this does become too much of a problem, I could just find a smaller cooler somewhere. Oh, come on, this is gonna fit either. All right, that. There's notches on the top of the heat sink. Oh, is that what these are for? Can I like zoom in on chat a little bit because it's a little hard to see? Control plus. That's a little better. On your heatsink fans, make sure it's not fighting your case's rear exhaust or upper exhaust. Okay. There's notches on the top of the heatsink where the clips on it need some pressure to clip on. I'm guessing you mean these things, which I wasn't sure what they were for. Because at the moment, this is definitely not seated, and as soon as I turn this on its side, it'll just fall out, which is not usually what you want to happen in your computer. Notches on the side, on the top, and on the side. Can I like move the camera over so that you can get a better look at it without knocking everything over? Hang on. So this is what I'm looking at, and whatever I just did obviously isn't helping. Let me put this down because I'm about to drop it. Come on, tripod. Don't fight with me today. We're really gonna have a... Am I really gonna have to fight with the tripod getting the camera back on it today? There we go. Sorry about that. The clips go into the fan corner holes, and the clip... Yeah, that's what I had attempted to do. So the clips are in the corner holes in the fan. And then... the clip on top notches on. So... I can't do this, can I? That doesn't seem like it's going to work. Now on the clip on the other side of the fan, you mean to bind the other one like this on the other side? If I can get these things apart. Uh, if putting the back frame on the fan away from the RAM clips fit the backtrack on the heatsink. It looks like that's what it's supposed to do, but I can't find a way to like to wrap them around anything or like to find anything for it to anchor into, really. Should I try like looking at pictures of how it's supposed to look? Maybe I can find a better diagram online than on the in the manual. That is a better diagram, actually. Okay. So I think I see what you mean now, which is that with regards to the clips going on the opposite side of the heatsink. Okay. This is what, like, it's gonna be attempt number like 3. Well, we'll get this eventually. So I was trying to, like, can you see that? I think you can see that. I was trying to fold them this way, but a better diagram that I found online makes it look like they're being folded this way. And I think that is what I saw someone say, I think, about putting it on the opposite. That doesn't feel right either. Am I losing my mind? Did I put them on like upside down? I might have done that. Instead of... Yeah, okay, I think I had them on upside down. You need to keep yourself static free constantly. Yeah, I don't have a great way to dissipate charge right now. Unfortunately. I am trying not to, like, touch things, which... Okay, I think that's... Alright, that feels a lot better. They're not quite even with each other, but... That feels a lot better. Yeah, I have, like, if you touch metal occasionally, which I've been trying to do just out of frame periodically, that's supposed to help, right? I don't have, like, one of those, static bands or anything, which I should probably get if I'm going to be doing a lot of this. You're welcome, Banex. Let's see. So this other fan, which is probably just going to have to sit on top of the RAM like that. This isn't hard, I'm just bad at following directions. gonna do this and as long as they're not building up a static charge. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying not to, like, you know, rub my hands on soft things when I do this. Not that, like, most of what's around me right now is not like a fuzzy carpet, but I think that's it, aside from connecting them to the fan power. Just going to be one over here. And those are the system fans, so I don't want to use that. Is there another one? Here, I think. It's going to be awkward because the graphics card is going to go there. Okay. Do make sure you're setting the fans as intake. I think I got them the right way around. A little while ago, I was going over with Serge about like which direction the airflow is going to go. Okay. How much of this can I get out of here, and then can we start putting it in the case? So this was unused fan paraphernalia. These I assume were for, yeah, LGA 700 and LGA 1200 case. Some of this plastic can probably go in the garbage. Did I take off the little plastic protecting the cooler? Assuming you mean the little tag, which was somewhere. It's oh, here it is. This thing, then yeah. The thing on the bottom. Forgot to take the plastic off your GPU for like 2 years before taking it apart and realizing that it had a plastic cover. Yeah, to some extent, like, if there's just like one of those things to protect glass from getting scratched, I don't really care if I forget to take it off or not. It's just that the one on the bottom of this probably would have, you know, impeded heat flow, which is kind of the whole point of having it. So, definitely not going to forget about that. Alright. I'm going to try and keep all the plastic waste together so that there's less volume of plastic to throw away later. We can just throw that on my desk. It's fine. Okay. If you have any HD power, LED power button and reset blocks, connect them now before putting the board in. It makes life easier. Yeah, that's kind of my least favorite part of doing this whole thing, isn't it? So I'll finish that thought in a moment. Could I have taken it out of the box last night so that I don't have to deal with styrofoam today? Probably. So as far as the front panel connectors and whatnot are concerned, organize the power supply cables before you put the motherboard inside. Interestingly, I tried doing that once, and I feel like I made a bigger mess than I would have if I just left it alone, but I could try it again if you really think that's say, an easier way to do things. But first, let me see about the front panel connectors. See, that glass panel had a lot of tape on it, and I may or may not remember to peel it off first. Oh, okay. These are actually a lot longer than I was expecting them to be. see. Audio jack, USB, more USB. I guess the USB 3 is the bigger one, isn't it? And then the bundle of cables that I hate trying to get in order. Spent a good chunk of money on PC case and its cool looking Thermalright Tower 300. Yeah, this was like the cheapest one that I could find that wasn't like actually didn't look like something from the 90s. This was just a Zalman Z2 or something like that. Yeah, USB 3 is the big one. I think that's what it says on here. All right. I wish I could have... Maybe I can. I was going to say, can I have this face the camera more easily from here? So that you can at least sort of see what I'm doing? That was the USB 3. These are the... One of them is audio, one is USB, old USB. Audio is this one. And front USB, which way around is it going to go? It's this one. Boy, you guys are talkative now. Make sure none of the standoffs on the case touch the back of the motherboard. Okay. That would probably make my life a lot easier if I did that now instead of later, wouldn't it? So... By that, I assume you mean, like, ones that aren't actually being used to screw the thing into place, right? One, two... Alright, so this is a micro ATX board, so I assume I'm only going to need probably the top four? No, on the side, wait. Getting the cables are connecting, get them on the back, then connect them. Alright, you're going too fast. What was I just doing? So I was just looking at, you said to make sure that the standoffs aren't doing anything weird. That looks, I think that's going to be fine. Let me turn this on its side so that I'm not in my own way. No, maybe I won't put that back on yet, because I'm just going to have to take that off again. Those are case fan tower. And... Evan, make a Medusa. Yes, Evan, we know that you're the chaotic evil one here. I've seen your posts on the GM forums. But this is the part I hate. So power switch, power LEDs, hard drive LEDs, that sort of thing. Because apparently nobody wants to standardize these, so I have to figure out which order they go on every single time. There's usually a tiny little... Is that labeled? HDD LED is in that corner. The reset switch is next to it. Power LED is all the way over there, which is weird. Power switch. Okay, let me... This part might actually have been easier if I put in the graphics card first, because I don't want to have to like sneak it under there first. Okay. Now for the fun part. Just to get the obvious out of the way, I do realize that a 9950X and a B570 are a little bit unbalanced, but playing fancy games are actually not the primary motivator of this thing, so I'm okay with having a bigger CPU for some of the other things that I do. Okay. It's a very satisfying feeling packaging material there. Small holes on the motherboard, those ones there shouldn't be, in case not misplaced, because it could make it short. So again, when I hold it up, I'll do another sanity check just to make sure that things are where I think they are, but like just eyeballing it, I'm pretty sure the holes on the motherboard are, you know, lined up with where the standoffs are inside the case. Black Bruce Lee brought a Lian Li 011 RGB and it came with a standardized cable. Are they like, do some of the fancier cases do that now? I wish they all would. I saw someone seems to not be impressed with Intel Arc, but I'm gonna PCIe guard. I'm gonna take my chances. Heard mostly good things about it, and it was one of the few cards that I could find that wasn't like $500. Okay, I'm actually gonna need to get this in the case first because I'm actually starting to run out of space on this table. All right. I'm starting to get worried that like if it gets any more cluttered on here, I'm gonna like elbow something and it's something important is gonna end up on the floor. So we'll take it a little bit more slowly. So this is going to need to go, and I wonder if I can move the tripod such that I can actually see into the case now that that's a relevant factor here. But I should probably worry about actually lining up the standoff screws first, as discussed. Oh, please tell me this isn't going to be... I could also use a little more light. Maybe I can get that lamp out from behind that desk. Alright, this back case fan is kind of... I don't think it's going to be in the way of a part, but it is kind of in the way of my hand, which is making this a little hard. The I/O shield? Yeah, wait, that's like right here. I have made that mistake before and had to take the whole thing apart, well, parts of it apart and do it again, but I'm going to let me just line this up. Okay, so we do have enough space, I believe, with the big old cooler there, which was of a concern earlier. Some of the I/O plugs came apart when I was doing that, unfortunately. But I think aside from that, everything else is lined up the way that it should be. Actually, what you're getting at is that maybe before I even put this thing in, I should have just like had the I/O shield sit on the on the ports on the motherboard, and I would have just been able to pick it up like that, which is probably a good point. Oh God, you all talk a lot. All right, I'll catch up on chat after I get these screws in here. I feel like that shield isn't There we go. Alright, you know what? Yeah, alright, you're right. I definitely should have just done that earlier instead of trying to slide it in all at the same time. In hindsight, not having to fight with both of them at the same time probably would have saved a little bit of time. The spiky side goes facing the motherboard. Yeah, can you like... Is it time for me to move the tripod so that you can see a little better? This is such a mess. And the battery on the camera is starting to run low too, so I'm gonna have to hurry it up a little bit. Is that a little bit more of a helpful viewing angle? Okay, so now I think I will, yeah, unfortunately while I was messing around in there, some of the I/O just, here it is, just fell right out, so I'm gonna have to do that over again. All right. Now for the fun part. Cable ties and cable sleeves make it. I have some zip ties in the desk over there, which I'll, once I figure out what I'm doing with everything else, I'll definitely try to use. I have not been very good at this part in the past, but I will definitely try to use them to keep the rat's nest under control a little bit. All right, PCIe guards. Next. All right, I think that is in place. I heard a nice click, and I just have the screw. Where did I put the screw? Recommend unplugging the cables from the case to get them on the back. After you screw the motherboard in, you get the ones on the front. You mean the ones that I said just fell out, or you mean like the front front panel fans and stuff. Seriously, where did I just put that screw? I think these were right. Oh, you know what I definitely should have done, though, is I definitely should... Alright. I definitely should have done the motherboard first. I have a feeling DKO is going to laugh at me. Yeah, there he goes. Go get in the back and screw the motherboard in, and then, yeah. Where were those screws? It's going to be these, isn't it? Oh, it came with zip ties for me. That's nice of them. Alright, DKO is going to be just laughing right now because I got distracted by B570. What did I assume it was Surge or DKO because they've got some opinions. What did you say to look at on the back? Screw the motherboard. Okay, just that. And then turn them back to the front. Yeah, all right. And you wanted me to just make sure that I know where the standoffs are, right? And of course, when I did that, when I turned it over, they became a little bit misaligned again. Wow, chat is going like, you guys are actually talking now. Every time I look up, we're completely somewhere else. I'm also feeling like all of a sudden, since this is a, well, that probably would have been just as hard because of the size, but since this is a bigger CPU cooler than I'm used to doing, I hope it doesn't end up being in the way of my hands more than smaller computers I built in the past too. All right. Oh, are we arguing about Intel now? Evan, remember to lick the screws first. Yes, that was definitely the most important step of any PC build. think that one is good too. Why do they have to make the screws so small? It's like they're trying to play Operation. Yeah. I feel like I have gotten somewhat used to it since the first time I've done this, but it's still like hand-eye coordination. I'm not the I usually have to. Oh, this is going to be hard because there's, again, the CPU cooler's in the way. I usually have to try it like a magnetized screwdriver. I used to have one. I don't know where it is. I wish I knew where it was. Because, yeah, if I could just, you know, if the screwdriver was magnetized, I could, not just for computers, but just like in general. I was hanging birdhouses a few last week or so, and I kept dropping them. And I definitely dropped that one too. Can I hear it. Can I get that back? I hate the idea of a magnet screwdriver poking around the PC. Well, it's not like I would like stab anything with it. All right, but seriously, can I get that screw out? I heard it. I would like that not to be rattling around in there. Why is technology hard? There it is. This is probably going to take a few tries. Because the way I've often described it to people is that I have like oven mitts for hands. And I did it again. Was that a different screw? Did a different screw just fall out? It's possible that it was just like already there, but Evan is never going to let me live this down, is he? Alright, it's a good thing that that's not facing the camera, but there's definitely now blood on the fins of the heatsink, because I definitely just scratched myself on the corner of it. Okay. Maybe I should try standing here. No, but I'm right-handed, and that's not going to make it any easier. Yeah, I don't even know if I have any mechanical drives, period, anymore. I think I finally replaced, oh no, my big external backup is still a spinny drive, but yeah, I'm working with SSDs in here now. Ah! Evan, I swear to God. Okay, I should probably put something on this so that I'm not bleeding all over my computer. I wonder if I were to hold this from the back, would it be easier if I did like, no, probably not. Because then I'm just going to have to, well, at least if I do that, it's going to be easier to get the screw out after I drop it. If your PC starts being unstable, maxing the RAM slots out might be it, just so, you know, just in case. God. Do you mean like I know that there's an order like an order in which you're supposed to seat the RAM slots first, but I do have all 4 of them filled, so I imagine that, and they're all the same sticks, obviously, so I imagine that wouldn't be much of a factor. 2x32 would have been better. I thought it was the other way around. All right. Well, if that's a problem, which I hope it won't be, I'll think about that. If you want one of your, you mean Crows? You mean to magnetize the regular steel? The RAM runs slower when it's 4x16, huh? Interesting. Has that always been the case, or is that a DDR5 thing? I've never, like... I've never, like, looked up the optimal way to arrange RAM in the past, and... God. Should I actually take the cooler off? No, then I'm just gonna have to put it back in. It is the same case with DDR4. It's more for the memory controller to deal with. I see. I've never run into that. I've never like seen it come up in a review or anything, but it's interesting. I'm coming from what, 2400 megahertz DDR4, so I have to imagine that like slightly slower DDR5 is still gonna seem like night and day to me. Oh my god. All right. Can we get the screw to drop for a 5th time? I'm pretty sure we're on more like the 7th or 8th time now, Evan. The other back fan, yeah, but that's that would definitely be in the way of my hands now. Okay. Before my other hand starts bleeding, this is obviously not helping either. And I see that my camera is now nagging me about low batteries. Have we already taken this long? That was a problem. Let me swap in the other one. Are we back, at least temporarily? Top of the hour ad break when Murphy's Law starts. Evan, don't even... Honestly, I don't even know what most people are using for their video capture devices nowadays. I know that Elgato is still in the business, but ow. Should I put a glove on so that I don't keep like hitting my hand on that corner of that heatsink there? I know that Elgato is still in the business, but like this card is like rather old, and I dropped it. An hour trying to get it to turn on. Yeah, that happened the other time I tried streaming a PC, didn't it? And the problem there was silly. I can't even remember what it was. It was like the HDMI cable or something was loose and it wasn't, I don't know. I thought it wasn't posting, but it was just not outputting a video because it was like plugged in sideways or into something where it didn't belong or something. The TV wasn't turned on? I thought the TV was on. Was it like to the wrong, was it reading the wrong HDMI input? Or something that I probably should have thought to check that I didn't. Standoffs are here. Here, alright, I did do the ones on the bottom. It's the ones in the corners. Would that be an easier one to get to the first time? At least if I can get 3 in and then turn it over, I might be feeling a little more adventurous with the other one. If removing 1 to 3 RAM sticks, turning the power switch on or wrong. Oh, you were talking about like the other one not posting. Let me at least take that one fan out. And then I might be able to get to... Oh man. None of you are ever going to take me seriously again. Serge, before I worry about that, I have to get the motherboard screwed on. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to fight with that too. I'm like not as bothered by cables in the front as most people seem to be, as long as it doesn't look like, you know, an actual fire hazard. I'm starting to think that like the being in the way factor so far has by and large been this massive cooler, and I might want to just find a different one. Which is unfortunate because, you know, 170 watt CPU. I was fighting with this thing so much to get it on, and now I'm fighting with it to get it off. This is silly. If you want a fire hazard, then you want a Bitcoin cable rig management. Yeah, I've unfortunately I know what you're talking about. I have seen those. Guys, why am I bad at everything? Okay. Yeah, I need to go put something on this because I don't want any more blood in the computer or anywhere else. So I'm gonna be back in like 60 seconds. Hang on. This is an awkward part of my hand because I'm going to be bending my knuckles a lot, but... Alright, what are you guys saying? Haven't built one in a while. It'll come back like riding a bike. I hope so. What was the last time I did this? A couple months ago? And, admittedly, this is the first time I've done something like this with as much in a small space. Most of the time in the past when I've done computer things, I had a little more space to work with. Crow, you mean like the driver stuff? The driver problems they were having the first generation? Because I haven't heard nearly as many problems driver-wise in the Battle Mage cards as I did with the Alchemist cards. Which I hope is, oh, voltages, you mean with the CPU's V-min shift and whatnot. That I wouldn't know. That's something that I haven't heard about either, and probably since before their current generation of CPUs came out. What is this stuck on? Which is not something that you want to hear when you're doing computer things. I didn't, like, bend the standoff, did I? That would be embarrassing. Anyway, the reason that I grabbed the Battle Mage card is, one, it was the only one that I could find for under, like, $400. And, two, I do actually want to see what they're like. Because I think they're interesting, and by the sound of it, most of the problems that the Alchemist cards had have been patched up in the intervening years, and I do want to see what they're like. What on earth happened here? I feel like there's always something new and interesting that happens when I'm doing this, and sometimes new and interesting is like in a cool way, and this one is like, yeah, I do want to take the fan off because that's in the way, and also slice my hand open, and I want to try and work that out. But I swear to God, I didn't like bend the standoff, did I? I can't say that's something I've ever I've done before. This whole thing is very strange. There was also some funny business when I went to Micro Center earlier to pick up some of these parts, and apparently, like, long story short, I misspelled my name or something when I ordered them, and then there was some confusion. They had to like look up my phone number to figure out what I was after. That was weird. Learning 3D modeling, I need the CUDA core, so I have to go with NVIDIA. Did they ever end up finishing that like CUDA on Radeon or whatever it was called program? I heard that they stopped doing that at some point. But that sounded like it would have been a nice interface so that like more people could do CUDA adjacent things without actually needing an NVIDIA card. Accidentally put your name down as Dragonair. Yeah, let's go with that one. Are the spacers on the case panel like the standoffs were just screwed in like pre-applied when I took it out of the box, but I feel like definitely don't want to roughhouse it, but it looks like it went in straight. But did I like? What on earth could I have done? All right, you PC smarty people guru guys. A hex screw. You mean on the case itself? I didn't see anything that's needed a hex screw so far. Usually a coppery color. Hair. Oh, by the way, I should probably plug that other camera battery in too, just in case like this one dies. It's always something. An Intel GPU won't run with an AMD CPU correctly? It's like another standoff for the motherboard. Well, I'll find out to the GPU question. I will definitely find out how it works. And if worse comes to it, I know that Micro Center has a return policy, but I should also say, like, I don't play a lot of insanely demanding AAA new games, and like most of what I'm going to be using this computer for is other stuff. Had to buy mounting screws for PC when I wanted to add an SSD. Apparently they just weren't in the motherboard. Well, you see, removing the motherboard is the hard part because this last one is not making it easy. And I'm gonna like... Am I dreaming this whole thing? Did I, Am I dreaming this whole thing up? Just one thing is going wrong after the other? The camera battery has 2 bars out of 4 left, so I guess that's going to be my my timer for how long I have to do this. Anyone to help me? Nope, no one else is home right now, and I don't believe the rest of my family really knows a tremendous amount about computers. The other option for a GPU, if this for whatever reason doesn't work, is that I just recycle my 1060, which I'm sure people will find extremely entertaining. Yeah, I know. It's like, what are the options? Like, the threads are stripped, the standoff that it's screwed into is damaged somehow, and it's just sliding around. I don't imagine either of those would have been the case, because when I screwed it in, it seemed completely normal, and the other one that I tried taking out, yeah. All right, I don't want to do that either. What else could I, The screwdriver? I doubt it. The screw itself is spinning. This is, I don't know what the chances that I'll be able to get the camera in there for a good look are, but the screw itself is spinning, and it feels like whatever it is sitting in, it did something that it's not supposed to. All right. Yeah, thanks for at least attempting advice, even if I wasn't able to really figure out how to do this. And I can't really take off any more of the back of the case, otherwise I would, just to see what's going on in there. Overdiagnose things. Just tape the motherboard in, it'll be fine. Yeah, that sounds like something that you would do, Evan. So for those who don't know, Evan is the one who keeps things on the Game Maker forums from getting boring. Now to make everything worse, my fingers are getting tired. All right. You're also moderate for the same form you cause chaos for. That's part of your job. There's no chance that I can, like, no. No chance that I can, like, feel my way around under there and see what's happening, but that's too far into the middle. Surge, that's what I thought too, but then when I tried to take it apart again, they didn't want to. This is something I can't say I've ever had happen before. Mixing fine thread screws with the thick thread screws. Yeah, I'm wondering if either mixing them or if like I jammed something the wrong way the first time and like broke one of the threads. If the power supply screws fit the standoffs, it may be brass standoffs with coarse threads. But even then, though, unless there are screws that look very similar that happen to have different threads, which I don't think there are, at least not that I've seen, the other one was fine. Which makes me think it's something that I did and not like just the screw was wrong. Short of like hitting it with a hammer, which I'm obviously not going to do. Is there a smarter way to try and get that out? Does the screw budge in any way? Aside from like wiggling it around with my fingers, very little. It will spin, but it won't go anywhere. As yeah, it spins when I turn the screwdriver. It's not like slipping in the like the well, except for when I drop it like that, it doesn't slip around. Can't I just pull it off? Maybe, but I don't want to apply that much pressure to it because then we'll suddenly have bigger problems on our hands. I can turn it back and forth, which, I mean, like I said, the other screws that were in there I was able to get out fine. If I had like standoff spins and it's unscrewed, it would be easy to get the motherboard out of it. I wonder if maybe that's it. Like the standoff is turning with the screw or something. I wonder if I could get like a pair of pliers under there and hold it still, if it would. That would be hard though, because there's not much space to get pliers under there. And did that toolbox go? Do I have a pair of pliers or something with me? Needle nose? No. Oh, yes. I don't think that would fit under there, though. I don't know how much you can see when I do this, but it would be, I assume, that one. Is there any way? If I were to look at what it's doing on the back when I try to unscrew it. If the standoff spins, a coarse thread got inserted into a fine thread. So that probably was it then. Interesting. Back out the board with the standoff and screwdriver combined. So you mean like find a way to hold the standoff still while I unscrew it from the other side? That sounds like what you're getting at. I wish I could take off this SSD holder at the very least so that I could like see behind it, but it's all one solid sheet of metal. And I can't say I really want to stick a pair of pliers in there without being able to see, but it sounds like there may not be that many other options. I'll see what you guys have to say about that. When I joked about Murphy's Law, this was not one of the possible outcomes I had envisioned. Well, let's try to not do this for long. It's always something, isn't it? Yeah, I still can't really see from there. I should probably move these dust filters out of the way because they are also sliding around and kind of getting in the way. If I ever get this out, I'll look at the threads and see if I can figure out what I did wrong. You mean like skinnier ones than these? This is where having a second pair of hands would really help. I go see if I can have a like a I'm trying to think of a better word than like needle-er, but like a more needle nose set than these. Back the screw to the left and lift the board gently at the same time. To the left, in the direction that you would. So like lift it as I'm trying to unscrew. It's funny because that felt like it was going somewhere momentarily, but now it doesn't. It should come out standoff board and all. I didn't hear a pop. Did you hear one? I might not have been. What else could I do? There's a part of me that thinks if I just like wiggle it enough, I could shake it loose. But I also think that if I do that, I could end up breaking something else, which is about the last thing that I want to happen right now. You never had that happen to me. Standoff's broken, snapped off, but not this. Evan, I'm surprised you didn't just suggest going straight for the hammer. So, you know. Or maybe even the crowbar, perhaps. I'm sure that would solve one problem and create about 15 more. Basically, to do it right, you have to gently work the screwdriver while putting gentle pressure on the board to get them both to come out at the same time. In that case, doing what I was doing a minute ago, like trying to lift it while unscrewing, seems as good a course of action as any. Evan, you'll be pleased to know that somewhere I have a video of me smashing a hard drive with a sledgehammer. Because my mom replaced hers and she wanted to make sure that it was properly dead before getting rid of it. She too is now on a solid state drive. Hardware gore, yeah, let's call it that. Okay, that doesn't seem to be going anywhere, although you guys did say that... you did say that that is like the way that you would usually solve this sort of problem. It doesn't always kill the data, though. Well, hopefully it was in enough pieces that, like... She was mostly just concerned about like work files. It's not like we had any government secrets to get rid of or anything. So hopefully it was enough of a beat up inconvenience that whatever was on the drive just wouldn't be worth the effort of getting back. Let me scroll up, see if I missed anything. I'm sure no one is going to try and reassemble it or anything. Yeah, that sounds like something that a trash panda would say, doesn't it? So this is what, like, we burned through like the first like 15 plans, and now this is attempt number 16. You would eat all the shards. So the only like gotcha I've heard about the Battlemage Intel card is that like they do still work really badly if you don't have rebar enabled, but most modern motherboards should have that, to my understanding. Okay, think. What could I change that will make this possibly come out differently? My camera is once again down to one battery, and the other one is not fully charged yet, so just try wiggling the screw back and forth and pulling a bit and try and loosen it. That was kind of the original plan. It wasn't going very well, but if I continue my to gradually wear it down, even like after stream or something. What time is it? 4:50? I could wait for my sister to get home and see if she wants to at least like try and hold it while I try and go around the back, but that'll be a little later. Going to have to pick out if you got a coarse thread stuck in a fine thread brass standoff and it starts spinning. Hey, we can always go with Evan's suggestion of tape. I'm sure that won't, you know, have any effect on the longevity of the system. Or could make use of some of those zip ties. When my sister gets home later, I'll see if I can talk her into like holding it up for me. Anyway, I should probably stop because my camera's battery light is blinking at me now, and that kind of puts a time limit on this. I'll try and get this at least to a state where I can like put it together properly tomorrow or over the weekend or something. This weekend's gonna be busy, maybe Monday or something. Thanks for coming by. This was fun. I hope this provided at least some entertainment value. Even if I would have rather like at least get to the BIOS screen or something by the end of today. But we'll call it here. Thanks for coming, and I will try and make this work somehow.